First class sonderman that got Christmas greetings from Uncle Sam. It said, do not stop it, go. Don't pass it. Go straight to Key West, get on this submarine, and take a nice winter cruise to England and points north. And so I went. And on our 2 weeks to England, nice, traveling on the surface. But about a week into it, suddenly the after battery was full of water. We traced it to open flushing valves to the head. And 2 days later, it happened again. Well, once it's an accident. Non-qual doesn't know what he's doing. Two, you got a problem. 2 days later, it happened again. We couldn't find out who or what was doing it. Now, this particular boat, the sonar room is under the mess hall. And the fourth time it happened in the wee hours. And so a lot of water got there, and guys were wading through it. And non-qual comes into the mess hall, and he says, hey, we got water back here. Of course, everybody knew what the hell was going on, was throwing blankets around the battery hatch to keep the water from down there. Water got down in the sonar room, dribbled down to our bogan amp, and blew the power tube. It also went down on a piece of equipment we carried. It was a 3 stacked. Salt water was all over it. Luckily, the spooks in radio had a tube for bogan because we didn't carry any spares. But the rack, we didn't know what we were going to do. You could see the saltwater traces all over down on the 3 drawers, so we just took it apart, carted it up to the deep sink, dipped all 3 pieces in the deep sink a couple of times, and sat them all back on the engines and let them dry out, and hoped that the hot water would wash the salt off and we'd dry it out, and since it was all hot, it wouldn't damage any of the parts. We put it back together, and damned if it didn't work. So the rest of the way to England, we're still trying to figure out who in the hell was doing what. Had a second class non-qual quartermaster that I caught in the head one day.
That's the same club.
I'm sorry, it's my story. But anyway, he was back in the head, coughing his head off, and I walked back in there to normal to take a leak. And he's coughing, and then he'd stop. And he'd come out and he'd look up the passageway and said, well, hey, do you want me to get the corner? No, I'm okay. And then he'd start coughing again and do the same thing. When the engine was coming through, I said, hey, go get the corner. So he came back, he got the guy and went and talked with him. We go into England, and the next thing we know, that quartermaster's gone. And we get a replacement. Apparently, he decided that the whole trip rested on him and doing his job and being a non-qual, too much pressure. So he was trying to stop us early. So anyway, out of England, we start our rest of our part of the crew to go into the Arctic Circle. Second day out, we shear a bolt in the scavenger air blower number 2 engine. And I'm no mechanic back there, but anyway, it was not fixable. So number 2 is now OOC for the rest of this cruise. So we get into the area. And February 23rd, 1962 comes along. We'll call it the day the captain referred, will it never end, or a day in infamy, or any other damn name you wanted to pull on it, but it was something else. Midnight, we start to snorkel. And on this particular boat, there's a ventilation pipe down in the sonar room that dumps exhaust air into the sonar room. So we get some ventilation down there. Suddenly it's full of smoke. I mean, the densest, blackest smoke you ever saw is coming out of that vent pipe. Now, we hadn't heard nothing, other than prepare to snorkel and commit snorkeling. Suddenly it's full of smoke. And you know how the firemen tell you, in a smoky pot, get down on the floor. Well, we had to, because you could not see. And I told the con, hey, we're abandoning the seats. We can't man it. Check on us when you get rid of the smoke, see if we're still alive. It was that bad. And we hit the deck, and I guess we had 2 foot of air. And above that air, it was black. You could not see anything. And we don't know what the hell's going on in the ship. Other than they're trying to ventilate, there's no alarms coming or anything else going on. Turned out, number 1 had an airbox explosion. And when that crankcase let go, there was covers flying all over the room, and all this smoke filled the whole boat. Not just us, but everybody else was in this too. So they ventilated, and we could see again, and man, and everything's copacetic. And we found out 2 of the enginemen had oil in their eyes, burns in their face, hands. The doc had them eyes all covered. And in 3 days, they were well again. This is after the fact. So we continue on our day. And it's a mid-watch of the next day, so 12 hours removed from here. And we picked up a 400 hertz tonal on sonar. It lasted maybe a second to 2 seconds, no more than that. Thought it was on ship's noise. We hunted through the boat. Nothing. So get relieved, and a few of us are sitting back in the after battery, and toxic gas alarm comes. Everybody's going to their stations. Well, we were just off watch. We didn't have anything to do. We headed for the torpedo room, as they said. It was in the room. The watch had passed out. So the 6 of us get up there, and everybody, we woke up in the racks, passed out as soon as they hit the deck. So we're carrying these guys back to the after battery. Well, there's only 6 of us carrying, and we got to carry 8. So a couple of us had to make 3 trips. I don't know if you ever had to carry a person that's unconscious, but it's like carrying a wet noodle. Any place you were not supporting sags. So you're trying to step 2 hatches, and you got the arms, and if you can't support the head, it just and vice versa. So we're carting these guys back, dumping them off in the after battery. Corman's back there with guys, and the second guy, being an ICU carried back, he's not breathing when we get back there. And we told the corpsman, hey, this one's not breathing, Doc. That's it, we go back to get another one. So all in all, eight guys were up there, and we got them all over the tables and everything, resuscitated a few of them. And the next day, the corpsman's hollering, gee, these guys carried the guy back, just said he's not breathing. I said, Doc, you got a lot of people back here. There's only 6 of us carrying them. We got to get them out of there. You know, you triage, that's what you do, right? So anyway, continue on. We're still in our 24 hours now, remember? We get that place, we ventilate, and our little 400 hertz tonal apparently had been one of 2 torpedoes trying to run. Because the fire controlmen had been doing their tests, and we figured the batteries lit off. When they opened those tubes, you had creosote everywhere. So they just folded the tube, closed them up, flooded them, and we kicked 2 torpedoes out in the ocean. So apparently all that gas ventilating in the room just replaced the oxygen. It wasn't poisonous. So we continue on with our little sojourn. We go into the mid-watch at night. We prepare to snorkel. Raise the snorkel mast, and the next thing you hear is grind, crunch, crunch, BAM! What the hell? The snorkel mast fell. So we're trying to get this all situated. And we ended up having to surface and taking it up to the lower position. The auxiliary went up on top and wedged it in the lower position so we could operate. So we come back down. By this time we're in the early morning wee hours, and we need to snorkel. We hadn't done anything, and the battery's getting low. So they light up off number 4. And the upper crank broke. So now we went from 4-engine boat, we are now a 1-engine boat. And that's a little difficult when you have to snorkel a certain period of time in 4 hours to get your battery up, and you're only using one engine. It's a lot of pressure. So we prepared to abandon ship and headed out. And in the meantime, radiomen, cooks, electricians, plus all the enginemen became enginemen. And what they did, these are Jemmy engines. You know, they break a lot, but they're easy to work on. We took the upper crank out of number 1, took it back to number 4, and replaced the upper crankshaft in number 4. 72 hours round the clock to get that engine back on the line. In the meantime, we're heading out. You know, hopefully we're going to get far enough to, if we got to go somewhere, we're going to have friends. So they get that one put back together. And we say, well, hell, we're back to a 2-engine boat again. We'll stay. So we turn around and go back in there. And most of the 24, all this happened in 24 hours now. So we go back in and we finish up near the up. And you think everything is over, except it wasn't over for me. I come off watch and I'm sitting in the after battery, fat, dumb, and happy, and suddenly I'm on fire, just burning up. And I get to Corman and he saunters in. What's wrong? Man, I'm just hot, Doc. 102 feet. So they throw me in the rack in the forward room, of which I am not very happy to be up there with everything that's happened in that room. And for the next 3 days, I was out of it. Just a fever. Nothing else, but I didn't move. Doc had come up, some soup every now and then. About 3 days I was back in action, and now we're back out of it. And we headed home, and they got number 1 fixed. So we were a 3-engine boat by the time we got back home. But as far as accomplishing the damn thing, I guess getting home was the only damn thing we accomplished. And the only other good thing that happened to me is when I got off the boat, Jerry Dabby met the ship, and he says, "You got 3 sets of orders. What do you want to do? You can be the Sonar Information Center chief and set it up, the first one in Key West. You can go to B school, or you can go to college on the NISA program. What do you want to do?" And that was a hard choice because I loved the job, but that's how I ended up in the NISA program. But I sure didn't need that cruise.
Good story. Good story.